Let me share something with you. Something hidden, something secret that has been slipping unnoticed through the cracks of your everyday life. It's a quiet violence, a slow, insidious decay that feeds on the soul itself. You have heard of it, the term brain rot, only to dismiss it as the latest internet buzzword. But in reality, it isn't a joke. It is not a trend. It is the spiritual sickness of our age. The Oxford Dictionary recently elected brain rot as the word of the year. And if you think it's just another harmless, catchy term, think again. It is a warning, an omen of the decay silently spreading through the modern psyche. Brain rot is more than the atrophy of intellect. It's a soul-deep erosion, and it's everywhere. The slow but unstoppable destruction of our ability to think, feel, and connect with what truly matters. And it is not a disease of ignorance. It is the sickness born from too much distraction, too much choice, too much noise. We live in a world that offers us endless access to everything, from trivial content to fleeting moments of pleasure. Yet we find ourselves more disconnected than ever before. Not because we are ignorant, but because we are overwhelmed by an ocean of choices, each one a new distraction from the essence of who we are. This is the root of the rot. We are told that more choice equals more freedom. But have you ever stopped to question the price of this so-called freedom? What does it mean to have the ability to choose anything, only for that choice to lead you deeper into a cycle of triviality and confusion? Freedom, we are taught, is the ability to choose. But the more we are given, the less we are able to choose wisely. The flood of constant, shallow options, social media feeds, viral trends, the ceaseless entertainment of our modern world only serves to distract us from what truly matters. The more we choose, the more fragmented we become, like pieces of a puzzle scattered by the wind. In this culture of infinite distractions, true freedom is slipping through our fingers. We are not free. We are enslaved to the very choice that promises to liberate us. We have exchanged depth for distraction, richness for noise, and in the process, we have lost our way. The warning about brain rot is not a new one. In fact, the first recorded use of brain rot was found in 1854 in Henry David Thoreau's book, Walden. In his work, Thoreau speaks of the dangers of mental decay long before the advent of the internet, warning about the emptiness that arises when we neglect serious thought and meaningful engagement with the world. While England endeavors to cure the potato rot, will not any endeavor to cure the brain rot, which prevails so much more widely and fatally? He called it a disease that ate away the soul, the erosion of the mind caused by overconsumption, the slow decay brought on by filling our lives with trivial things. Thoreau, ever the observer of human nature, understood something crucial, that the mind, like the body, requires nourishment. And when we feed it only with superficial thoughts, fleeting pleasures, and the empty noise of the world, it begins to wither. The mind becomes a mere vessel for distraction, incapable of the deep, contemplative thought that is required to live fully. He saw this rot creeping in, much like the disease of the potato, though this one attacks something far more critical, the human spirit itself. When we allow the world's noise to drown out our inner voice, we begin to decay. And though Thoreau wrote in the 19th century, his words are more relevant now than ever before. In Thoreau's time, the distractions were many, but they were not yet digital. Today, the distractions are infinite, and they are a weapon, one designed to sap our energy, our focus, and ultimately our ability to think for ourselves. Brain rot, the very thing Thoreau warned about, has metastasized, becoming a global epidemic, made all the more potent by the constant stream of information at our fingertips. This brings us to the heart of the issue, the illusion of freedom. In a world that promises freedom through choice, we have become prisoners of our own desires. Each choice feels like a step towards liberation, but it is, in fact, another step deeper into a prison of distraction. The more we are given the freedom to choose, the more we forget the true essence of choice. We are free to pick the next thing, the next trend, the next moment of fleeting pleasure. But in doing so, we lose touch with what truly matters. True freedom is not about endless options. It is about the ability to choose what nourishes us, what aligns with our deepest truth. Sartre once warned that the burden of infinite choice could be unbearable. What was once seen as empowerment is now revealed to be a trap. And as we fall deeper into the abyss of endless distraction, the mind, the soul, begins to rot. We become numb, unable to see beyond the immediate, the shallow, and the trivial. Don't be fooled thinking that brain rot is a causality. It is a weapon by default. The system doesn't need to cage your body. It needs to cage your mind. It needs to dismantle your capacity for deep thought, for self-reflection, for critical questioning. This is the power of brain rot. And while you may think of it as just the mindless scrolling, the empty entertainment, the flood of information that means nothing, this is only the surface. Behind it lies a much darker, more insidious force at work, designed not to dull your mind, but to kill your soul. Take, for example, the concept of social conditioning. The philosopher Herbert Marcuse wrote about the one-dimensional man, a person who has been so thoroughly conditioned by society and the media that they lose the capacity to critically engage with the world around them. In a world constantly offering distractions, trivialities, and instant gratification, we lose our ability to think deeply. We become passive recipients of the world's noise, unable to question or challenge the narratives that are imposed upon us. In this state of intellectual apathy, we lose the very thing that connects us to our inner selves, the ability to cultivate a sense of purpose, of meaning. This isn't an accident, it's a strategy. The system doesn't need to destroy you physically. It doesn't need to lock you in chains. No, the most effective form of control is to make you forget who you are, to make you forget the power of your own mind. In brain rot, the mind is numbed and rendered impotent, and the soul, disconnected from its true essence, becomes an empty shell. With no sense of purpose, no deep thought, we are like walking corpses, existing but never truly living. Another theory that connects to this is Nietzsche's concept of slave morality. Nietzsche believed that modern society had created a value system that kept individuals from expressing their true will and power. In his view, those in power promoted values that emphasized weakness, conformity, and passive obedience. This is the true nature of brain rot. It creates a world of conformity where critical thinking and independent action are no longer the norm. Instead of striving for greatness, for individualism, for transcendence, we are encouraged to live in a perpetual state of mediocrity, consuming, absorbing, and accepting whatever is handed to us. When Nietzsche warned of the dangers of a soul stifled by the prevailing values of society, he was speaking to the heart of the issue. Brain rot is the system's tool to create slave morality, making us dependent on trivial distractions, incapable of questioning or aspiring for anything higher. It's a death of the soul, a death that occurs in increments, until we find ourselves so numb, so disconnected, that we no longer have the will to fight for anything meaningful. Brain rot is not just a symptom of a distracted mind, it is a weapon of the system designed to obliterate the soul. Through passive consumption, through drowning in the noise of the world, we become less and less connected to our true selves. The result is a hollow existence, an existence that may seem alive on the surface, but beneath it all is a slow, painful death. The system's greatest weapon is not control through force, but control through disconnection, from self, from purpose, from truth. And it's in this disconnection that your soul is destroyed. The system thrives on the decay of our souls. It offers you the illusion of choice, an endless sea of distractions, each one designed to pull you further from yourself. But let me make this clear. This is not your destiny. You have the power to break free, to step away from the chaos, from the clamor of the world, and reconnect with your true self. You have the power to choose depth over distraction, purpose over emptiness. The moment you choose to reclaim your mind, to silence the noise, you reclaim your power. You awaken from the numbness. The world is drowning in distractions, and the system is counting on your silence, your compliance, your apathy. But you are awake. You are the one who sees through the illusion, the one who refuses to be consumed by the noise. The time has come to stand up, to fight back, to reclaim what is yours, your mind, your soul, your power. Join the awakened rebel movement. This is more than just a movement. This is a revolution of the spirit, a revolution of the mind. Subscribe to this channel and become part of the rebellion that refuses to be silenced, that refuses to be distracted. The world wants you numb. We want you awake.